Obviously. Obviousness. What is obvious for you isn't going to be obvious for every single person. I did a Tuesday Truth about this quite a wee while ago, and it really struck a chord for me in terms of, yes, it's true that things will be obvious to one person and maybe not so obvious to another. But as we're here in the middle of the week, think about what's happened up to and including this point and where the obviousness has come in terms of maybe a conflict that has been avoided or has happened. Things have not gone the way that they were supposed to go. Communication has broken down. People are in some way completely distracted or disoriented from what they were supposed to be doing, including you. And then start to think about the things that you, I hesitate to say it, but took for granted. Something that might be obvious to you might not be obvious to another person. And it could be absolutely, completely cleared up and crystal clear through active, appropriate communication with that particular person, with that particular group, whomever you're interacting with. So you might even go as far to say, here is what's very obvious to me about that. You show up on time, you have your safety equipment, you don't be unprofessional or belligerent to other people, you don't insult the customer, like whatever that looks like. But there's nothing wrong with just saying, I just want to have an obvious check here with everyone. These are the things that are obvious to me. Is that the same for everyone else? And if the answer is no, then what are you actually going to do about that? How can you lean into that and say, I need to get better and more clear on my communication. I can use this and negate any potential negative connotation or circumstance just now, but also for the future. To say, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought everyone knew that. I thought that was super obvious. Because if you start to think about, well, that's obvious, isn't it? No, it's not, actually. And that's a disservice to the relationship and to what it is you're trying to co-create together. So don't assume that what's obvious to you is obvious to everyone else. Think about some of the hardships you might have endured this week. Look towards the end of the week and maybe start to have that obvious check. And that, just to be super clear, when I say this, this is what I mean. Did you get that? Do you know that? Do you understand that? And if the other person goes, oh no, I didn't, brilliant, good, I'm glad we're having this conversation. And then you can lean into that. You can fix the situation or arrest any sort of negative connotation immediately in and of the moment. And then you can have a follow-up conversation to say, is there anything else? Are there any other circumstances where I'm not clearly communicating what is obvious and what the absolute base parameters could be for this particular thing?